Okay, hi everybody. Appreciate you all taking the time to chat with Sean here today. We're going back to the old school all Zoom availability. So I will ask that you raise your hand virtually if you have a question. Once I call on you, feel free to go ahead and ask whatever follow-up questions you have as well. Making sure everybody is in and ready to go. Thank you, Alicia, for getting it started. I will have Sean, first of all, ahead of the trip out to Los Angeles, second time to the West Coast this year. Obviously, you've been going through these last couple of weeks with the limited squad, thanks to some World Cup departures, have some new players in. Just give us kind of a sense of where the team is here as you get set to head on out to Los Angeles.
Yeah, they're fine. I think it's just a natural regular the season fatigue. I mean, the break probably can't come at a better time for us. But I'd probably say for the whole league, really. But yeah, the group's been fine. They train well. We've managed them this week as best we can, just to make sure that we can have them as fresh and ready for a long trip. So, but yeah, good, positive, good vibes within the group, and we'll see how it carries over into Los Angeles.
Alicia, I'll let you start off with the questions.
Thank you very much. Hi, Sean. Thanks for your time today. Wanted to ask, first of all, this week, 3 members of the Courage were named to the NWSL Team of the Month. Wanted to get your thoughts on those honors for Casey, Caroline, and Kaylee.
Yeah, I think anytime our players get nominated or selected for best 11, especially in this league, I that background is confusing. Is someone in the background? Okay, can we mute? Yeah. So sorry, Alicia. I think it's a positive for us. Obviously, for KK, it's her first one, which is surprising, to be honest with you. But it's a good reward for the group and the efforts that they've put in, the commitment they've made, in such a competitive league. I think, look, we gave up 1 or 2 goals all month. You can probably say our whole back line, potentially deserves it, but I think it was it Huerta was the other one. She obviously had a great month, and so for our players to be linked in with those types of players, I think is a credit to ours and the team as a whole, just based on you're out at training a lot, so you see how they commit to each other and the intensity at which they train. So that's great. I'll be honest with you. I think Ryan Williams deserves at some point needs to be recognized. The kid has just been an absolute stalwart, and but again, I can see where so many different things go. But yeah, I'm really proud of the players and the team for the opportunity to be selected into the best 11.
Kind of related to that, my follow-up is the team's in first place in the regular season right now. I know this season you've been talking about building for something a little bit longer term, not necessarily keeping track of where the team is in the standings, but coming up with this break coming up, the team's doing really well right now. Can you reflect on kind of where they're at in the standings and kind of the progress that you've seen to this point in the year?
I'll comment on the progress. I won't comment on the standings. The standings speak for themselves. Look, in one weekend you can drop to 6th, right? So really, it's not like it's just the way the league works. But I think the progress is what really needs to be talked about, because I think there's so many positives for the year. I was telling one of the players last night or yesterday that regardless of what happens, it's been a success, right? Because you don't know which way the season's going to turn. So no one expected us to be here, except for us, because we knew how hard we were going to work. We have a great staff. We have a great commitment from the club. We have a great commitment from the players, and that shows. We've been consistent throughout the season. I think the thing that sticks with me the most is all the direct messages I got when we started making deals in the off season, basically saying to me that the club is ruining the club and you guys don't have no idea what you're doing. And, I think this type of stuff reconfirms that this is a rebuild. Sorry, this was a rebuild in terms of just getting players in that want to play the way that we want to play. Now that we have them in, now we can start layering in things to where we want to go. I would be lying to you if I said that I expected us to be here at this early process. Because it's such a young team. It's such an intricate way we want to play, but it's full credit to the players. I mean, they're the ones that have to go out and perform, the love and care they have for each other. And if it gets us to the top of the table, great. If it gets us to the middle of the table, great. If it gets us into the bottom of the table, it's not for lack of effort and not for lack of growth. No matter what happens the rest of the way, no one can say that we didn't get better this year. No one.
Great. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Gibby, CBS 17, go ahead.
Yeah, Sean, I got on a little bit late. I apologize for that. During a streak, is this the biggest challenge going across country and playing so far away from home and in different time zone? Is this the biggest challenge you guys have had during this run you guys have been on?
No, I think anytime you play is a challenge, whether it's home or away, because the competitiveness of the league. Obviously, the length of the trip, is sometimes can get you, and at this stage and the fatigue and all that. But I think overall, I look at it as just another opportunity to play and get better and perform. It's always easier making these trips when you're having some success, but a run and all that, we don't discuss that. It's not, for us, it's not a run. It's just we've made the most of our opportunities and competed well and possessed the ball well and limited opportunities for opponents. But I think we could go up to Washington and it would be just as dangerous, so because that's the nature of the league. That's why it's the best league in the world. So but I think the only thing would just be the legs, just because of the distance that they travel. But in fairness, Angel City had to play at Gotham last week, so they had to travel all the way across the country twice there and then back to play us. We're just going there to play, and then we have off a week. So there's that combination as well.
Well, I got you, Sean. Can you touch on how well your defense has played? With 3 straight shutouts. Just what is about your defense right now that's playing so well?
It's not really. I mean, it's a combination of multiple things. It's not just the defense; it's the ability for us to possess the ball, right? And that when we have the ball, that means the opposition doesn't. So if we have it, they can't score. But I also think it's the ability to defend in front of the 18, defend the channels in front of the goal. I think it's the ability to counter press, the ability to transition, all those little things that maybe we weren't doing so well last year because of our shape. We've tweaked and we've fixed it. And, I think as a collective, we've defended better, not just as back four. So I think that's a credit to the team and the players. But it's so layered that it's not just that one piece. When they're called upon, then they do their job really well. But I'd like to think that everyone is doing their job in front of them as well.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
Victoria, go ahead.
Good morning, Sean. You kind of touched on how the players, they have that love for each other and support for each other. But with this whole transition from old days, how big of a factor is it of building the trust with the coaching staff and the players, and just kind of was that something that had to be kind of rebuilt and reestablished after what happened before, or is that something that's just kind of organically taken hold?
Well, I think the benefit is we were there. We were part of that. They knew us. This whole group is different because it's a whole new team. Last year was a little bit edgy just because we were just coming out of everything. And to be honest with you, I really hate talking about it still. I know it's not anyone's fault. It just keeps coming up. And at some point from a club standpoint, I think we've done what the players need to make sure that they feel comfortable. But I think the hardest part last year was more so from the coaching staff in regards to, do we change the way we play? Do we keep it the way we were doing it? Because that's what gave us success, knowing that we just lost so many players that gave us that success. So there was an in-between there. So, you saw we started the season with a box. We realized it wasn't working. Then we went to the system that we're currently playing now. Was there complete buy-in? I don't know. But we were playing really well at the end of the season. So I think there was towards the end, because they start to see the results. Where at the beginning of the season, aside from Challenge Cup, we hit a little bit of a wall and inconsistency and uncertainty and ways we train differently. That's hard for players that maybe have been in the league for so long to come in and now have to deal with something completely different. Whereas this year, I think everyone's just been head on, and I think they see the fruits of their labor. I think they see all the work that they put in, the intensity, the way we want to play. I think they all enjoy the way we want to play. I think that shows. I think it's different than what they're used to. If we wanted to play the way we used to, I'll be honest with you, we wouldn't be able to, because we don't have those horses like we used to. The legs up top that can run and run and run. So we've really had a change, and look at the players we've brought in. We don't have, we have footballers that are just want to get on the ball and play, and we surrounded them with them rather than feeling we have to do something different. So I think that was the biggest thing, was they wanted to see some success, and now that they have it, I think they see, and you hear them talking about it, every little nuance, every little detail, they keep talking about it. So that tells me that they've taken it all in. But that was probably the hardest thing, Victoria, was from a staff to be changed, because I only want to see the game a certain way, and that doesn't mean it's the right way, but those are the types of players we have, and that's where we're at right now.
And then also following up on that, you have those players, those veterans that didn't see a whole lot of time before. They're now, their stars are shining. How much faith and energy does that give those younger players that hadn't seen that playing time earlier, that they're going to get in and they're getting, like Pinto and Kiki Pickett are getting their chance to shine and really have taken that on?
Yeah, I think it's a belief that we have in them. I tell the story a lot of Ryan Williams. In terms of last year, when I took over, she reached out to me and she wasn't sure if how she played suited my style. And I said, you're never going to know unless you try. I was like, you can go two different routes. You can go a different direction, or you can see this thing out and you'll never know. And then, all of a sudden here you are, I reminded her of that, at the beginning of the year, that remember that conversation we had, and I asked you to trust me. I trusted in her. She just needed the opportunity to do it. She got it towards the end of the year, and she hasn't left the field since. So it's those types of things where sometimes the players just need a little bit of belief. They need a little bit of consistency. They need to know that they're still getting better every single day. The fact that they're pros and they feel like they're still learning something is pretty impressive, because it is so new. So yeah, again, it's full credit to the players, because they could easily walk away. They've stayed with it. They believe in it. They're enjoying it now. The ones that weren't playing are now part of our leadership group. So, again, but that's a mindset. That's something that the players have to be able to deal with. I think the younger players struggle with when they're not playing. They come out of college, they play every single minute. They're the best player on their team, and now they're having a hard time, but it takes time. The good thing for us is we have 5 players that have proven that. So we have backup in a way to say, hey guys, look, it'll work out. But I give full credit to the players and the fact that they stuck it out, and we stood by them. And KK gets a contract extension, and Ryan gets a contract extension, and let's be honest, Ryan was the last draft pick in her draft. Now she should be in best 11. That's a story in and of itself that needs to be told.
Absolutely. So you're heading to a stadium that's always full of energy. How is that going to help to kind of lift the team, even though it might not be home energy, but how does that lift the team kind of in the dog days of summer and the dog days of the season?
Yeah, I mean, look, they definitely, when that place is packed, it's the best environment in the league. I mean, that Portland, it's just you could tell it's not a mystery. But I think we're so young and so naive that who knows, it could either overwhelm you or you can go make the most of it and enjoy the experience. We're going to find out, that's for sure. I enjoy going there. It was enjoyable for me to go there last year, obviously after everything that took place prior. But I'll tell you, last year, I don't care who went in on that day, they weren't coming out with 3 points. That place was electric. was great for the women's game, and they've stayed continuous in that. But we just have to go do our thing. And after 90 minutes, as I've said all year, whether home, away, win, lose, or draw, we'll start getting better after the break. But you want to be in those environments in games like this, but, you know, it's fine. We'll see how the players respond to it.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, no problem.
Want to say hello to Jasmine Gallup, who joins us from Indy Week, a brand new reporter here covering the Courage. Pleasure to introduce you to Sean Nahas. Jasmine, if you have some questions, go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more coverage. It's kind of unrelated from the current season and the upcoming game, but I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about Casey and Emily Fox, who are going to be representing the U.S. at the Women's World Cup in a few weeks. Can you tell me a little bit about just their play styles and what, you know, you might expect to see from them?
Yeah, no, first, welcome. Appreciate you joining on. Yeah, I think Foxy, again, I don't know if you have much of the story. You know, I've known Foxy and Case since 2016 when I had him in the Youth World Cup.
Right.
So to see their evolution has been tremendous. I think, you know, Casey's evolution as a goalkeeper with Nathan, you know, behind her, coaching her, I think has been really something special. I think Casey's on any given day can be the best around. Her distribution, her shot stopping, all that has grown so much. Distribution with her feet, her aerial presence, you know, who she is. She's very focused and determined and doesn't get sidetracked from anything. So, you know, that's, you know, Casey's only going to continue to get better in the right environments. Foxy's Foxy. Foxy's sort of a free spirit. You know, she's quiet, but when she plays, her personality comes out. She's great on the ball. She's great getting forward. She's great in tight spaces. Her ability to get out of trouble, her ability to pass and combine, all those things that make her special. And that's what makes her dangerous at the next level, because she's in a situation where if the U.S. asks her to get forward, down, and back, it could be a lot of trouble for opposition because she's so hard to track. But I'm looking for them to go and have a big impact for the States, you know, and hopefully they come back with first place and world champions. We'll be supporting them just like we'll be supporting all of our players. But, you know, to see their evolution is a little bit personal for me, just because I know where they started several years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks to, you know, the way you were talking earlier about how NC Courage is developing players, and it's kind of a special place for soccer, especially for me personally. But thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.